Hey, 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 good morning. It's Cindy and Dusty here, hanging out on our back deck. So today's video topic title is Deep Down, You're Always Trying to Do This One Thing. But first things first, if you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm live, so you don't miss a moment. If you're watching anywhere else, leave us a comment and say hi. Okay, I'm going to start with the story. I think it was a couple weeks ago, and we're sitting at dinner, and it's a place that's all full of televisions. Like, everywhere which you look, you can watch something different was on. So I was watching, I don't know, one of those shows where it's like a podcast, but they actually video it. So it's two people talking back and forth with microphones for a podcast, but they're also videoing it. I always thought their shows were funny, but now I think that was weird, but now they're like the norm with so many people working from home. So anyway, it was two people in front of their microphones. Maybe they actually were in the same room together. Maybe I'm merging shows together, but they were talking about NASCAR. And you're like, Cindy, we're going to talk about NASCAR today? I was like, yeah, we are, because it's a perfect illustration for the one thing that we're always trying to do. Well, it was a famous NASCAR driver that was retired. I say his name. It was Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking to, I think, a guy that was his uncle on the show. So they're just talking back and forth about like NASCAR for the week. And then all of a sudden it took a turn, and I was like, let's see how this is. They're talking about his wife, and I think he hasn't been married for that long of a time, but he was talking to his uncle, and he's like, well, I'm so glad that my uncle likes my wife, because, just in case you don't know, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s dad died on the racetrack, so he never got to meet Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s wife. But what he said next, I was like, they're talking about races and things like that. And then all of a sudden it got real deep. And he was like, I'm glad my uncle approved of her since my dad's not here, because I think that means my dad would have approved of her too. And I just want to make my dad proud. And I don't know how old he is. I get that he's probably late 30s is his age. But that got me thinking, that is so true. Deep down inside, no matter what age you are, you're always trying to make your parents proud. You want them to say, hey, you did a good job, or I'm so proud of you. And not necessarily in a approval addiction kind of way, but it just is, you want to make your parents proud. Like, you want to be successful. You want to show that they raised you well. You always just are looking for, hey, I want to make you proud. And I started thinking about that too. I was like, well, I have that too. Like, I have a book coming out. My mom and dad would have been so proud and excited about that. I created a series of workbooks for people to make their life easier from a pain point that I had, so they didn't have to have that pain point. They'd be so proud of me for how I took a bad and turned it into a good. They would be so proud of me. So I thought it was funny how they're talking about NASCAR, racing cars at 100 miles an hour, hundreds of miles an hour. And then they got to the meat and bones of it, that he really wanted to make his dad proud. And I'm sure he did that every day when he went out racing too. He wanted his dad to be proud of the race car driver he became, because I'm sure his dad taught him how to race cars. So I thought that was interesting, and I started thinking about that, and I was like, I need to share that with everybody. I need to share about, just in case you didn't know, deep back inside your brain, your subconscious, somewhere in there, you are always trying to see if you're making your mom and dad proud. And I don't think there's anything wrong about that, as long as you're just not always seeking to please people, or you're always in like a needing somebody's approval. I think that's great. Your parents trained you and raised you up, and you part of them. You're a reflection of them. So I think that's great. So that's my little 2 cents for today. If you want to join a group of fabulous moms that are probably deep down inside trying to make their parents proud because they're also parents now, join our Moms in the Middle group, Navigating Life Well Between Aging Parents and Kids group. And you'll find a lot of like-minded people in there that you can share life with. So I will see you guys all later. I love you all and have a great weekend. Bye.